This guy fish thought after. Alright. So, we're back again. This is gonna we're gonna have 5 videos I have yet to put on the Facebook page yet. They're all uploaded, I haven't put on the Facebook page yet. It's gonna be one massive video dump on the page later tonight or tomorrow.
I'm super excited about all of the emails that I'm gonna get from Facebook that are gonna tell me about these notifications.
Of course, of course.
My inbox needed help.
Glad we can assist. Alright, so obviously Cody's with me again. We just got out of Boxtrolls, which is the new movie behind the creators of Coraline and Paranorman. I have not actually seen Coraline. It's on my list of things to see, but I freaking love Paranorman. I've said it, gone on case several times saying.
I have, in fact, seen Coraline, and as an avid reader, I have read the book as well, and I adore both of them to pieces. And this film did not disappoint. It really didn't.
I liked it. That's what I'm saying. I liked it.
I have to admit, I didn't know a whole lot about this movie walking into it, and then...
Yeah, because you literally you came in the car and it's like, alright, what are we seeing?
Pretty much, that was kind of how this rolled. So, I got a quick rundown of it, and I was skeptical, because Boxtrolls, trolls in boxes, or box-shaped trolls, wasn't really sure we were going with that.
It's like a very odd, fantasy version of Oliver Twist.
Kind of, and kind of a cross with that story where the little, elves make shoes for the guy every night.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm getting a taste of that happening in there.
A little bit, like a little mix and match here. So, as this movie had a lot to live up to for me, because I am such a huge fan of the last movie, Paranorman, because, I think I named the climax of that movie as one of my all-time favorite movie climaxes ever. So, again, this had a lot to live up to.
And I did heartily enjoy Paranorman. I've seen it a couple times, and I liked Coraline a little bit better, personally.
That's I've talked to people that say like Coraline
and it's pretty much so a toss-up from what I've seen between the two films. I've just kind of, again, I had the book happening behind me, and Neil Gaiman is one of my absolute favorite authors of all time.
Neil Gaiman.
So, I might be a little biased in that regard, but really, this movie completely blew me out of the water when I walked in the theater.
It looks very different than the last two movies.
It does, like the doll eyes thing.
Because this is easily some of the best claymation in the last decade. But it also has a very unique style, and it sets itself very much apart from the last couple movies they've made. And
it's fantastic, the attention to detail that they played.
Oh, yeah.
The main character, his skin, they actually managed to catch the translucence of human skin, which is fantastic.
I mean, this is all claymation. This is really hard stuff.
It is, and it was... I just kept, whenever he came on screen, I just had to kind of lean in and appreciate the talent that went into that.
Not to mention, just all the creatures and the character are just so expressive. There's just so much going on in their face, because I think they use a 3D printer to work at a lot of the facial features.
And particularly since the Boxtrolls themselves do not speak recognizable English. Kind of think Minions from
a little bit.
movie.
Oh god, I kind of like this better.
Yeah, I know. A little bit like that. Not necessarily the incredible goofiness of that, but they speak in their own sort of language, so you can't understand them, but you completely get all of the emotions.
Yeah, what they're saying, it's through the body language,
everything.
The facial expression, the body language. No, I actually like these better than the Minions, because I feel like these Boxtrolls all have their own kind of individual personality, and I know a lot of people like the Minions, but they're a marketing ploy. Come on, they don't really stand much on their own.
These ones you appreciate as people.
Yeah,
even though they're not people. Like, the Minions are kind of gimmicky and cute, and yes, I love them. I love the banana song for a while. My friend had it as a ringtone, and we happily loved that whenever it came on. But
you don't remember any of them by name.
No, you don't. And these guys, you do.
You recognize, because it's also very, very cleverly done.
And you're just sad when stuff happens.
Because, the Boxtrolls all have, different boxes, with brands on them and stuff like that. So they're all named after the brand of box they're wearing, which is really, really clever.
It is. And there are some funny boxes.
There was a guy wearing a shoe box, his name is Shoe, and there's another guy wearing a fish box, his name is Fish. And, the main character, who's a boy who got adopted by Boxtrolls, his name is Egg, because he came in an egg box.
And there's anher one whose name is Oil, and he has an oil can,
because his gimmick.
And it is, and each one of them, by the end of it.
It's like the Smurfs, but much more interesting.
It is. It really is.
But, okay, so the basic rundown of the story, actually kind of a complex story.
It is fairly difficult.
I was like, this world threw me through a loop. Okay, I should mention this movie takes a long time to really get going.
You will wait.
That's really the biggest issue of the movie, is that it takes a while to really pick up steam. And so there's kind of a lot of padding, and it takes a while to get used to the world, because the world is very unusual. Even
the setup of it, think Minas Tirith crossed with a cake, and that's kind of what you get the shape of this city happening here.
Because right away, like the movie introduced us to the Boxtrolls. Doesn't even really give much exposition. It's just boom, they're Boxtrolls now, and they have a baby.
And you just see the Boxtroll running away with the baby.
And meanwhile, the obvious main villain, played by Ben Kingsley, who is just having so much fun from beginning to end. He talks like this, and he enunciates and elongates everything. He looks like if the Penguin and Cruella de Vil had a baby, and you'd get the...
Pretty much. That's a fairly good assessment of that.
And you get this villain who's, Stalker, or start with an S? Snatcher. Mr.
Archibald Snatcher.
Archibald Snatcher. And, he comes up to this kid like, oh, they've captured a baby, and they're going to eat your children, but more importantly, they're going to eat your cheese. Because apparently...
so out of left field.
I know, so you're really caught off guard, because the mayor of this town is, like, played by Moriarty from the Sherlock 2. But big surprise, he's a dick here too.
Yeah, his personality does not vastly improve.
No, and I love Jared Harris. That's his name. I love his. He has a just distinctive voice. Anytime you hear him, he's like, oh, it's Jared Harris. Ben Kingsley too. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, you could definitely, as soon as he started talking, you're like, oh.
Like, oh yeah, it's that guy. You may always remember. He's like, he knows that guy.
That guy.
But anyway, he plays the mayor of this town. Like, apparently your rank of superiority in this town is ranked by what color hat you wear. So,
although we only ever see 2 colors of hats.
That's true. We see the main villain has a red hat, and like all of the important people have white hat, like gigantic white top hats.
Think about kind of going off the trope of in old France when they used to wear the powdered wigs, particularly during like the reign of Louis XIV, and that was your mark of status. And the bigger and the whiter your wig was, the more important you were. Definitely channeling that.
I mean, like the whole movie is styled like kind of like a grungy, like British old-timey story. Again, kind of like the world of Oliver Twist in a lot of ways, or like Fables emulates a lot of the same style.
And it's trying to be steampunk without any of the steampunk
There's
happening.
A couple steampunk towards the end.
But the entire world is trying to have that feeling, even though it's not.
Yeah. I mean,
it's
like
not there.
I mean, like I said, just the way the creatures, the Boxtrolls especially, the way they move is just so fluid and so fantastic and fun to watch.
The cinematography is just spot on.
Oh yeah,
everything.
Like the lighting and the presentation and the way the angles are shot, all of it looks gorgeous.
And even the combination of the music with it, so heightens the experience of what's going on. You stop recognizing individual elements. Because a lot of times in a movie, something catches you, and that's just what you focus on. In this movie, it just is a package that happens. Yeah,
I mean, like the only time I ever really even noticed a claymation in play is sometimes I look in the background and look a little chunky at times, but even then, those are really kind of hard moments to catch. I mean, the animation is so smooth, which is so hard to pull for claymation.
It is.
And claymation is a lost art. I admire it so much because it really takes so much passion and dedication to actually want to pull off, because it is so fucking hard to do.
I know. And to see it done well.
Exactly.
I mean, we haven't had a good claymation film in terms of really spot-on animation in a long time. Again, we'd find plots and that sort of thing, but this was a craft.
No, this is why I love this company, though. It's because they are willing to take that dedication. They do make amazing products with really good stories.
And what's great is that even though they don't put out a lot of products frequently, what they do put out is worth seeing. It's worth going to the movies, spending whatever the ticket price is, and enjoying yourself. Even if you're an adult, there was quite a few people in the theater.
The theater was packed.
And not only were they people with children, which is a given because it's a children's movie, but just, I mean, the people behind us were an older couple, and they just went to the movie and had a fantastic time.
Because, like, they know how to throw in adult themes and adult jokes, and, like, that's one thing I love about Paranorman is, like, you watch that movie, there are a lot of adult jokes and a lot of adult themes, and that's good for kids and adults. And that's what the best anime movies do. They're good for both kids and adults, and and this movie does that too, and I really like that because of that. But again, like I said, though, it's not perfect.
No.
So let me go over a little bit more of the story. So Mr. Snatcher makes a deal with, I was gonna call him Moriarty, because I forgot the character's name.
Something rind.
Something, Lord something rind.
It has to do with cheese. It's like pungent rind or something.
Because like the whole thing is basically like wine country except with cheese, and like everyone's really snooty about cheese for some reason. And because just go with it. That's kind of what the movie tells you.
Accept
He says, okay, they're gonna take all your cheese, but I can take care of them. If you let me take care of all the Boxtrolls, you'll give me a white hat, and I will be rich and famous. Woo-ha-ha-ha. The twist is he's allergic to cheese, which
really
hardcore allergic to cheese, which I admit was a clever twist.
It was. I was not expecting that.
But to the point, it's like he swells up everywhere. It's really disgusting. The animation is great on that too, because
and he
like
starts
repulsive.
hallucinating, which is just, it's fantastic.
But anyway, and then it has like a montage, a beginning montage of basically how this child that lives with the Boxtrolls grows up and he bonds with basically his father, Fish, the Boxtroll, who basically bonds with Egg. And there's a great little montage. He grows older, and they slowly build like this like music studio inside the little cave. And you get introduced to like the exploration of the world of Boxtrolls was fantastic.
And the other Boxtrolls.
The other Boxtrolls, like each one has their own unique design, their unique personality.
And even how they interact with one another, and how they interact with Eggs, the main character, and how they interact with the world. You can tell which ones are more adventurous, which ones are more inventive, which ones are grouchy. All of that, and they don't say anything.
Yeah, it's like Wall-E. It's all told through body language and like mumbles. And it's like, even at the worst effort from this company so far, the ideas here, I mean, this is probably like the least great of the 3 movies they released so far. But at the same time, the ideas here are so creative. And that's right, like, so creative and so fun to watch, just from that perspective alone. Even the stuff that doesn't work is at least clever and creative, and there's clearly a lot of effort thrown into it, and I really appreciate that. As cross-dressing aside, which we'll get to that.
Oh yeah, that was an
interesting little segment. that's where I was really getting questionable.
As soon as I saw it on screen, like, I knew what was happening, and I was kind of confused.
The musical number, that threw me off.
This one, just to let you know, is not very musical, surprisingly. I mean, not that the other ones were very musical either, but...
No, I was just not... There's one musical number in this, and I was like, okay.
Sure,
so
we're gonna go with that.
This is happening now. But anyway, it shows Egg as he gets older. He's convinced he's a Boxtroll, so you kind of know where that story's going from that perspective. But meanwhile, Boxtrolls are slowly disappearing because Mr. Snatcher is getting more and more of them. Meanwhile, there's these 3 henchmen who are fucking great.
They added so much to the movie.
Okay, so there's 3 henchmen that Mr. Snatcher has. They basically do the bulk of the work. There's like the big guy who's kind of like I don't know for doing this, because they're convinced they're doing the right thing.
They thoroughly believe that they are the good guys, that they're getting rid of Boxtrolls because they believe that the Boxtrolls are evil.
Like, think of the 2 henchmen that Cruella de Vil had, except they think they're good guys. That's basically kind of what these 2 are. But my favorite was just a psychotic little short dude who was just straight up evil. He doesn't care. Like, his whole thing is just to giggle maniacally and like say the last word someone else said.
He's completely chaotic evil if we're putting him on a spectrum, and it's just...
And he looks like Mr. Toad, and it's great.
He really does.
Because that's when it's like, evil is afoot, and he goes, foot.
I think my favorite was the throat one, though. Just throat. Like, what?
Or there's part where he goes, you gotta go quietly, go for the witch. It's like, quiet. Quiet.
Leeches.
Like, I love this little character, because there's no part where he wasn't on screen that did not get a laugh out of me.
No, not at all. And he's completely...
insane. And
it's not one of those insane characters that you're just like, oh man, really? We're doing this again?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're here for this. It's funny.
It's just a voice actor, I think, and the way the character is designed, it just goes with it so perfectly.
And it's not overdone either.
That's true.
Not all the time. He's not just there for comic relief. He kind of adds the punchline to the joke.
A little bit. Or the point where he just smacks someone with the gun and goes, BAM! BAM! But, yeah, so it goes older, and then more of the Boxtrolls start disappearing, and they don't really do anything about it until they capture Fish, in which case Egg kind of freaks out. He goes, oh, crap, I gotta go do something. So he decides to go up to the surface and track down Egg. Meanwhile, the movie gets better when the mayor's daughter is introduced. She is great.
She really is.
She is fantastic. Cause okay, so I forget. It was a Herschel or like start with an H, I think. Hansel, redhead girl.
No, it was. Oh my goodness, I can do this. Because I know someone who has her name.
Okay, I'm just gonna IMDb it. Where'd I put my phone? There you go. Anyway, this girl comes in and she's fascinated by box trolls and she has a very disturbing imagination.
She is kind of super creepy. She just constantly spouts all of the stories about box trolls, about how they...
Mountains of bones and rivers of blood.
And how they're going to eat her face off. And her dad's just like, you need to not be so obsessed. She's like, I'm not obsessed. I just constantly think about them nibbling off my toes and then wearing them as a necklace. She's like, okay, you're a little weird.
And then the best
Winnie,
part...
her name's Winnie.
Winnie, that was it. Winnie was her name. Okay, so Winnie realizes that Egg is real boys that kind of started living the box trolls, and she runs into them out in the real world, or during the day, because all the box trolls come out at night, and they go to sleep during the day. But Egg breaks the pattern by coming out in the middle of the day.
Because Fish was taken and
because
he
Fish taken wants to go help Fish.
And he already started having a little bit of these thoughts when Oil was taken, because he asks Fish, why don't we ever do anything?
No, I think he asked Shu. Yeah,
Was it
Shu.
Shu?
Yeah, because this is after Fish was taken, and he's sitting somberly in his little cavern with the music stuff, and then Shu tries to comfort him by playing bug throw at him. But then he says, why do we do this? Like, why can't we just go out and do something? And he doesn't really have an answer. He kind of towels off. But, and the best part is, like, are you one of them? Or it's like, no, she's like, did they drag you down there? Did they kidnap you? Did they kill your family?
Did they let you watch? It's like, wait, make you watch.
Make you watch. And, like, we were the only two really laughing hard at that joke. It's like, come on, guys, that was hilarious.
That was great.
Like, she gets this great, like, maniacal stare down, like, just really disturbing.
Because at first, you're still kind of on the fence about her character, about whether or not she is kind of crazy, if she likes the box trolls, what she is, and then as she's doing this montage, she just gets more and more and more into it, to the point where it's just like, did they let you
little
watch?
Child.
And poor Egg is just...
She's like, no, we don't do that. And then, of course, there's the part where she ends up in the box trolls cavern, and she goes, where are the mountains of bones?
I was promised rivers of blood.
So disappointed.
At first she was really scared, and then she was...
And then she's like, this is not at all what I imagined. This is bullshit.
No!
This is bullshit. But then that's when the movie really gets interesting, though, is when Egg and Winnie get together, though, because that's when they kind of work well. They work really well with each other.
They do.
And like she, of course, they have the whole fish out of water story kind of goes from there. But the same time the way it's done is really funny too.
And they play Egg as almost a way to satirize the rest of society.
Oh yeah, like there's
things.
great satire on the political system.
And the thing is you don't really realize it when you're watching it, and then as it goes along, then it starts clicking. You're like, I got it.
I kind of figured out right away because all the white hat people meet in what's called the tasting room, where they taste all the best cheese and decide on diplomatic matters. Problem is, none of them really give a shit about diplomatic matters. They almost want to eat cheese.
They want to eat the new Roquefort.
They want the new Roquefort. So it's, we can have funding for this children's hospital, or we can try this new cheese. All in the favor of eating the cheese? Aye. Okay, that's what they do. But the best part was... this is obviously going to spoiler territory. They disguise Egg up in this fancy where they take him to this fancy party that she did not know was going to happen because they want to talk to the Lord about setting all the box trolls free. Because this is the part where they realize that Snatcher has this big sweatshop where all the box trolls are making this gigantic machine. And we also get backstory and apparently how his father was killed by Mr. Snatcher.
And how Fish kind of explains...
like
what
how
happened,
he came to be there and all that stuff.
And so it finally explains the beginning of this movie that you've been waiting to this point to figure out what is happening.
Only to find out basically ripped off Tarzan. But by the way, that's one question I had. Who taught him English?
Well, technically all the people above still speak English. He might not hear them all the time, but he still...
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's a nitpicky thing. I'm not going to jump too much into it.
And they also do address the fact that he speaks differently than the box trolls.
He
was told that
I have a speech impediment.
Yes, he was told he had a speech impediment.
Because this is the part where Winnie's trying to convince him he's really a boy, not a box troll. It's like, go ahead and fit into your box. I can't. I'm long-boned.
And they also went to the trouble of actually even binding his hands into the proper proportions of box troll hands.
Oh, yeah.
And you realize, throughout the movie, you realize he has bindings on his arms, but you don't really understand why.
But so his hand looks like box trolls.
And then it's so tactfully done. It explains that little detail.
So stuff like that I really appreciate. But anyway, it turns out they go to this big fancy party, and he's trying to fit in the fancy party. He's failing miserably.
And shaking hands.
And shaking hands. So this is his version of shaking hands rather than this. And the Lord comes out and he goes, well, this was originally going to be a party to celebrate the funding of new children's hospital, but instead, here's a gigantic wheel of cheese.
And the thing is no one seems to care. Not even, there's no indication that anyone is unhappy with this political system.
And then, like, one of the great little horrible punchlines in the movie is when something goes wrong with the cheese and he goes rolling down a hill, and he goes, do you know how much that cheese costs? You basically just burned down a children's hospital.
It's so good.
I was like, it's so brutal. I love it. But before this point, we forgot to mention the musical number. There's also
just, like...
on this big festival thing. It's basically like the Gypsy Festival from Hunchback of Notre Dame. It's kind of the same thing.
And they're commemorating the kidnapping
of the boy, because his brother is a huge thing. They sparked this whole curfew where they try to capture the Boxtrolls at night and stuff like that. It sparked this whole big thing. And in this festival, there's just Madame Frou Frou, which is basically just Ben Kingsley in drag.
And everyone really likes
it. Even the Lord, the main Lord's like, oh, I'm your biggest fan. And his wife just like so pissed off behind him.
Just angry.
Just this great scowl and just whack. And then just whack in the back of the head.
Again, she has like 2 lines in the whole movie, you totally get her personality from her 2 lines.
Pretty much. And so yeah, and then out of nowhere, Mrs. Frou Frou starts singing.
She tells the entire story of the
legend of the baby that got taken by the Boxtrolls.
In song and dancing and props. And
it was like, okay.
It just kind of came out of nowhere.
It really did. That's like... This is kind of the more awkward part of the movie where you're not really sure where it's going, and it hasn't quite built up to a point where it's really good yet.
And at this point, it has not been shown that Snatcher is, in fact... Madame Frou Frou either. You get it.
It's easy to figure out.
But at the moment, you're still just like, what is... Okay.
No, I kind of figured it out right away. Like, oh god, they're doing the don't dress and drag thing. Okay, I'll go with it.
Just accept it.
Pretty much. So, yeah, that happens. And then Miss Frou Frou is also at the fancy party. And he realizes... And he's trying to capture the 2 kids at this point because they figure out the whole plan. But, so there's this montage of them dancing. He's trying to get to them, and he's hiding underneath dresses and all that stuff. It's weird when I talk about it, but
and obligatory slaps and just
it's like this is the point where the movie got really good though. Like I started really getting into it, and then of course they try telling the Lord, but the Lord doesn't give a shit.
Of course not. He only cares about his cheese.
And but at that point they go back to the cavern because they realize the Boxtrolls are all in trouble now. But too late. He comes in this gigantic steampunk transformer thing, takes on the Boxtrolls, does this evil villain speech, and captures our main heroes. And meanwhile, he wakes up into a cage, and he finds out that his father is still alive, but he's also incredibly nutso.
He really likes jelly.
Really likes jelly, because he gets jelly when he behaves nicely. And of course, from there, it's kind of the predictable thing you go from there. You know, Ben Kingsley does his big villain stuff, and our main hero has one big rousing speech to rouse the Boxtrolls and saves them all, and Boxtrolls ran up, and society suddenly understands them. They beat them up with the bad guy, who just fucking explodes.
Yeah, he just kind of explodes, and they don't hide the fact because Winnie becomes a musical performer. She goes into theater, and she straight up says that he exploded into entrails that rolled all over them.
Because the whole point, the 2 henchmen who think they were good guys switch sides, and of course he finally gets his white hat. He finally gets to go in the tasting room, but he's also incredibly allergic, so he's got really just swelled to monstrous proportions.
Because he ended up in the giant wheel of cheese.
In wild cheese. So, and then he takes one bite of the fancy cheese, and I was like, where's this going? This is PG-13, guys. This is PG, guys. What are we gonna do here? Next thing you know, poof! Just like in a cloud of gas, basically.
Yeah, and then the details are given to us by Winnie. Yeah. Because she's there to, as her dad says, be his weird
little girl. Because at this point, the father's learned his lesson too. Kind of out of nowhere, but I was like, okay, I'll go with it.
Well, he learned his lesson when he gave up his white hat for his daughter. At that point,
it's like, oh, I care about my daughter now. Okay.
Because he didn't care about the Boxtrolls and the originally eating children, even though he is a father. He only cares about the cheese, and so that's the moment where he gave up his cheese.
That is such a weird sentence to say out loud, isn't it? Let's talk about this movie. You realize how fucking weird it is.
Yeah, I kind of realized that I feel really kind of awkward about enjoying a movie about cheese and trolls.
Trolls and boxes that are named after the boxes they're in. But no, yeah, that's pretty much a movie in a nutshell. It's like the first half is really just, it's kind of awkward. You can't really tell where it's going. They kind of gave Ben Kingsley a little too much screen time initially.
It's like WALL-E, the first half of WALL-E, but not done as sensitively.
Well, I mean, the first half of WALL-E was fantastic.
I know, that's what I'm saying, is WALL-E was better in terms of...
This movie's like, we kind of have to just get through the stuff. It's kind of like stalling, kind of just to build up, and then you get to this, like, the second half is much, 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 much better.
It is.
Because, like, they were kind of both on the same page, like, okay, we don't really know where this is going, this is kind of weird.
It has some good laughs, it has some moments, but
otherwise, we're like, I don't know if this is going to be good. Then the second half, it's like, oh, this is a lot better.
Yeah,
stuff is happening. All right, I'm down with this.
Pieces are coming together.
But it's like, overall, like, I would still recommend this movie.
I would definitely, when it comes out, I would watch it again.
Yeah.
I might not watch it all the time or something, but having a movie night, I could see where this would fit in.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's just like the animation is fantastic. The characters are good. They're likable.
They are.
Like even the Winnie, the girl I thought for sure was gonna hate, I ended up liking.
Because I tend to really hate
the snobby
little girl who shows up, and then this one's got a weird, creepy twist, and she's still snobby, and she plays that off, but she just brings all of the terrible tropes together in some oddly workable thing.
Just a little short psychotic dude.
I know, he's great. And on a note on a little short psychotic dude, to anyone who watches Doctor Who, he will make a Doctor Who reference, and it's so good.
But other than that, it's a pretty predictable kids movie. It's a pretty good kids movie. I don't think it has quite the same moral power I think that Paranorman or Coraline had.
No, not at all.
Because like the Coraline and Paranorman had some pretty mature lessons in there.
This was more fun than it was dark.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's more like the morals taught to kids. This movie too. This movie does have a moral.
It does,
and it is a good one. Like it said, like you can define who you are. You know, you can be who you want to be. That kind of thing.
And it also teaches the importance of family, like all kids.
Yeah, you know, you have to do that.
You
it's kind
do,
of obligatory.
you do.
It's like Disney made that contact for all anime movies years ago. But it's like overall, it's good. I mean, like, what makes this different from, like, say, the lesson in Paranorman was that bullying's just gonna be out there.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's definitely not a good thing by any stretch of the imagination. But you can survive it and you can fight back.
This one is much more about self-acceptance.
Yeah, which is a standard.
It is. There was, aside from kind of the twists on the norm, it was a very formulaic movie.
Yeah.
And it was done well.
It was done well. Like, what makes it interesting, though, is just the world it creates, and just this very weird economy that it creates.
The cheese.
And the odd character. Just, again, it comes back to the creativity in the world, the way it looks, the way it feels, the way the characters interact in it.
You could tell the people who made it loved it.
Yeah.
There is no other reason to describe it. It was a work of careful craftsmanship, people who looked out for the small details, and when it comes together in a package, that comes across. Even if it
mostly
isn't
works, yeah.
this most unbelievably inventive or challenging movie.
Yeah. Well, it mostly works.
Yes.
It mostly works. You just gotta get through the rough patch, and after that, it's fine.
Indeed, it is.
And so it's one of those movies. So it's like, if you're like that, I mean, it's like our audience seemed to like it. So
They certainly did. I absolutely adore the little kid.
Oh yeah, we got one kid, like, after the sad flashback sequence to find out what happened to Egg and how he got there. This little kid in the front goes, "Oh, that's so sad."
And the entire theater is just...
started kind of laughing out loud. And then, like, the psycho dad who's hung upside down, has the crazy hair, starts yelling, "Jelly!" And I guess the kid behind me really liked it. It's going, "Jelly." And the woman goes, "Shh, here you go, Jelly." Just quieter.
And at the end, the jelly comes back because...
The dad's all sane now because that's how psychology works.
He's kind of sane. He still occasionally says jelly, and now he wears a jelly box.
Of course.
So.
Of course. But no, it's a very good voice cast. Like, everyone's top notch here. Like, there's no performance I would say is bad here.
No.
You're even mediocre. Like, all the cast was pretty damn solid.
Even the characters who had very, very small roles, it was good. It just was.
like, I'm glad I saw it.
I was a little leery walking into it, not gonna lie. I had an incredibly busy day, and I'm like, great, I'm gonna go sit through this movie, and...
I hope it doesn't suck.
Yeah, but I hope that I don't need to just walk out and take a breather and come
There's
back.
still time. You can go see Left Behind.
Yeah, I'll just go right do that right now.
Can't wait for that one. I am so damn excited for Left Behind. I'm not gonna lie. I'm predicting it's gonna be like terribly funny Nicolas Cage movie. I can't wait. It's Nicolas Cage on a plane.
I know.
On a plane during a Bible apocalypse. It's gonna be fantastic.
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas fucking Cage, man. He's the only actor alive who's ever been in a bear suit and punched out a woman.
It's true.
Have you not heard of that?
I have.
Oh,
it's pretty fantastic.
It's like the best joke I heard about was waka waka whore. Bam.
He amuses me. He may be just not very good, but he's so funny.
His face off is amazing. Okay.
Sorry, off track there.
I think we said everything we're gonna say about the movie, so let's move on to trailers then. Obviously, it's not as much bad things to talk about, like Maze Runner, we just went off a frickin' tangent.
No, this one, again, all you can really talk about is its merits and also the, like, obligatory telling you that it is a little slow at the beginning.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's what you got.
So the first one we got was Annie. I've seen this trailer like 1,000 times now.
I have not, because I live in a cultural hole, and I'm too busy to do things like watch trailers. And, you know, I was not a fan of pretty much any incarnation of Annie I have ever seen.
Neither was I.
Ever. And I probably will see this one.
Wes is a fan of musical Annie, so he'll probably come with me on this one. You're welcome to come too. But, I think I've probably said this in a video before, but I'm gonna repeat myself, so I apologize in advance. But what I want to do is, if there's a midnight premiere of Annie somewhere, I want to secretly invite 20 of my friends, if I have 20 friends, and I want to plant them in random seat sections all over the movie theater. And I'm gonna sit in the very front of the theater, and halfway through the movie, when it starts to really suck, I want to be able to stand up from my chair, turn around, and start singing, "Do you hear the people sing?" and have someone random plant stand up and say, "Singing the song of angry men." And one by one, have everyone start singing together.
Oh my
So you have an
goodness.
audience watching Annie singing the song of angry men from Les Miserables.
Appreciate this.
That would be amazing. wouldn't it?
Again, I don't expect it to be good because I just don't really like the Annie story, but it has Jamie Foxx.
I know, Jamie Foxx looks charming as all
And
hell.
he does, and it just seems like it has enough quirky humor that it may save Annie.
Yeah, like the whole, like, God is a path for all of us. Yours is away from the car. That was funny. I like
It was. What's this? Her hair.
And then we got Paddington. This is the second time we got this teaser. I still can't believe they're making it. But
I don't have words. I don't. No, I'm not.
it looks, yeah.
And it wasn't even like it had good CGI in it either. It was just...
It's like, I don't get this new trend that in kids movies where and we'll talk about it again later on in the next couple trailers, where they take like cartoon characters, strictly cartoon characters, and put them in live action settings, just CGI the crap out of them. It's like, there has not been a movie that has done that yet that has been good.
The only one that even remotely pulls that off is Guardians of the Galaxy, which is not a kids movie,
No,
and for
but-
Rocket.
Yeah, but
But no, this is just...
that's because that was made to look more like it's meant to be in that world.
Exactly.
This clearly is not.
No, it's really not.
It's like, Smurf sucked, Alvin and the Chipmunk sucked, whatever else. The only thing I can think it did well is like Roger Rabbit.
And didn't they do a Curious George movie too?
Oh, but that was cartoon, wasn't it?
I think they did a live action one too.
Oh, fuck.
I know, right? Like, I just watched the trailer and went, no.
Yeah, so I don't expect this to be better.
No, I really don't. And the trailer did not show us anything other than a bear being stupid.
It was a teaser. So then we got The Good Lie, which again goes in the category of random white woman fixes everything.
Everything, yeah.
Made by the same people made Blindside, which I also hated for the same reasons.
As soon as you see that it's made by the people by The Blind Side, you know exactly where the movie is.
Yeah,
going. And the trailer reads the same. It's even shot almost in the same style of that trailer. It has similar musical elements. It just is.
And I saw this movie earlier this year. It's called $1 Million Arm. It was the same thing. Random white person saves is reluctant to trust these 3 random African American people, but then he grows into liking them, and then he helps them discover themselves and find their place in the world.
Really, really terrible joke about these people who came from the Sudan, who's war-torn, lives a life of a different reality, shows up on a cattle farm as for employment, and asks if there's any dangerous animals. Which is a pretty legitimate question. I grew up in a rural area, and we have things like bears and mountain lions, and if I'm moving somewhere, I'd like to know that. And, like, white guy just
starts laughing.
Laughing at me. He's like, what are you talking about? And they're like...
You ignorant foreigners.
Yeah, because they say, like, lions, and... I mean, yeah, it's like, oh, lions don't live here, but at the same time, really, we had to go there. We had to make fun of that.
The weirdest part is this trailer got an intro.
It
like,
did.
That was really weird.
Like, the maker of it shows up and is like, watch our trailer. It's good.
Pretty much, I was like, okay, thank you, random guy, from This Is Where I Leave You, which I saw last week. Like, and that guy who dies in House of Cards. Spoiler. And
it didn't fit with the other trailers that were happening. There's this moving, attempting to be semi-documentarian piece. It's in the middle of kids' movies trailers. Like, what?
But then we got a trailer for a movie I actually really want to see, which is Big Hero 6.
Yes.
I actually really want to see this movie.
I am so down to see that movie.
Because this is like the latest trailer, and it looks really freaking good.
It does. It does.
This is also based on a Marvel comic book, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah. Like, this is the first, like, Disney-Marvel collaboration with their animation department. So
it looks good.
It looks really good. Like, it actually looks funny, and the animation is great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this probably will be more of what I wanted from Wreck-It Ralph, to be honest.
Don't talk to me about Wreck-It Ralph.
You didn't like it?
No.
I thought it was just okay.
I mean, it wasn't horrible, but that movie, I expected more than what I got.
That's kind of what my feeling was.
It's the same thing that I had with Brave. I walked into that movie expecting something else and did not get it.
Instead we got Brother Bears 3.
Pretty much. That's exactly what I got out of this.
No, I thought they were going to do something much different. For Brave, I thought they were going to do something very clever, which was like take the whole I wish my life was better thing from a lot of Disney movies and actually show the consequences of that actually happening.
100%, and not being my mom.
And not turn into a bear.
And then it just becomes a mother-daughter movie.
Which is fine, because we don't actually see that a lot in Disney movies.
And had they marketed it as that, I would have gotten behind it. I hated the fact that they marketed it as a Celtic Mulan. It wasn't.
No. I mean, I was okay with the mother-daughter dynamic because we don't see it very often in Disney movies, but it does go to the fact that this is Pixar. I expected much more than just an average Disney movie.
Exactly.
But, anyway, we clearly got off tangent on that one. Big Hero 6 looks good. The robot looks interesting without being annoying.
It's like a really cute version of the Michelin Man.
A little bit, yeah. Like there's a few great lines. He's designed to be like a medical robot rather than like a warrior he turns into by the end of the movie. And there's a part where it's like he like examines the lonely outcast child and he goes, diagnosis, puberty. I was like, oh. Was not expecting that from Disney.
No, not at all. Or the fact where the one semi-stoner kid is like, it's like spooning a warm marshmallow. Okay.
Or my favorite line where it's like, you're giving me a heart attack. Just robot goes, clear.
Like, not actually. It's a figure of speech.
So it looks charming. It looks cute. It looks like it's got a good heart to it. And again, just the animation looks fantastic.
Indeed.
So that's probably what I actually will go out of my way to see in 3D. We did see this in 3D, by the way. It didn't really add much.
No, I think that it would have been just as fine in 3D.
Yeah. And then...
Deep breaths.
You got the SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water.
As if the first SpongeBob movie wasn't enough of a train wreck.
Right? And this movie seems to completely ignore the first one too, because it's like, you guys did this before.
You do know that, right? Like, this is not a new premise. Oh, and they make them into superheroes. That's all. That is what I got out of this, is they decide to make them into superheroes.
I mean, seeing Plankton as the Hulk was kind of funny, but... Other than that, though, it's like, this just looks really dumb.
Again, I
liked SpongeBob as a kid, fine.
I absolutely did, and I just, no.
I'm astonished the show's still going, but...
The new episodes are absolute garbage.
That's what I've heard.
A whole new level. I stopped watching years ago because of how much they tanked.
Yeah, like I think I tried watching one when I was on vacation because it was the only thing on TV, and I was like, "Wow, this is really."
It's the same thing that happened to all of the old shows. They ran out of material. It was never meant to run that long, so you just.
Well, except South Park. South Park's still great.
That's true. They don't have all of the same voice actors either for the movie.
Yeah,
they're not,
you can definitely tell the
Plankton is not...
sound remotely like original Plankton.
No, they're not. I mean, obviously SpongeBob's the same, Patrick is the same, Squidward's the same, but it's not the same if you don't have the whole cast.
So, I don't know. I guess if you...
No. Just no.
Just no. It's doing the same thing Smurfs 2 did. I mean, at least the original SpongeBob movie had them in the original cartoon form on dry land, not the stupid CGI shit.
And it was remotely funny. This just looks stupid. Like, the plot looks stupid. Not to say that SpongeBob ever really had a particularly fantastic plot, but...
It needs more David Hasselhoff is what it needs.
It really does. That scene in the original.
David Hasselhoff and his magnificent buttocks.
Oh,
how weird was someone like eavesdropping, like, what?
Wait for just someone to walk by.
This is completely out of context. It's just David Hasselhoff's magnificent buttocks. And last one, this movie looks very, very interesting. So I'm on the fence about it, because on one hand it looks really interesting, on the other hand I'm not sure where it's going. Book of Life.
I think that the style of it is really fascinating. I think it's really interesting that they're exploring Mexican culture.
And like the puppeteering thing I think looks really
and
cool.
The style of Dia de los Muertos.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, that is all stuff's really cool. At the same time, you also have Ice Cube that's in this movie for some reason.
And looks like he's trying to play a god figure of some
I know,
sort.
I feel like it's kind of racist. Like, dude, you turn like your only black actor into a fucking white dude.
You really do. But there's just a really interesting mix. I like the all-you-can-eat churros in the land of remembrance.
I mean, like, I think I made the joke before where it's like there's only two people in this movie that aren't even trying to have a Mexican accent, which is Channing Tatum and Ice Cube. Because, I mean, like, say what you want, Channing Tatum, he can be really funny if you put him in like good comedic accents.
And even in the trailer, he was pretty funny.
He did have a couple good funny one-liners. But like, no, like, I really like the animation though, and it has Ron Perlman being a bad guy.
And the mask, the Dia de los Muertos mask on what I'm assuming is going to be the main character, so I'm not entirely sure on that. It is being
produced by Guillermo del Toro, so there is that, it's got that going for it. It has a very unique style to it, which I really, really like.
I'm going to wait to see a couple more trailers as we get the more expanded ones, as we get closer to the release date. It does look interesting, but again...
At the same time, though, I also love evil Ron Perlman so much. Like,
I'm just afraid that the visuals are going to end up being the gimmick, and the story is not going to be there. I mean,
it has a very good cast. Like, Zoe Saldana's in this, and you got Jane. Well, you know.
Okay, that's not good.
For comedy, Channing Tatum is fun,
and he plays a comic character in this.
Yeah,
so that's
obvious. Okay. It has Gabriel Iglesias, which is an odd choice.
I know.
Actually, it kind of works, but this is. I mean, the last movie I saw him in was in Haunted House 2, so it's gotta be better no matter what.
Gabriel Iglesias.
And yeah, I guess that's it. So, any last thoughts or anything you want to get off your chest?
No, not really.
Tell me your feelings.
My feelings?
Your feelings.
Glad I saw a movie tonight.
There you go. That'll count. I would recommend this. I mean, it's a good kids movie. It's definitely I would say it's definitely the best one's out right now.
Yeah, and I mean, just in terms of a lot of movies that I've seen recently, this one I legitimately enjoyed. It wasn't...
By movies recently, you mean The Maze Runner?
Yes, in fact, The Maze Runner. Please, go see this 3 times before you watch The Maze Runner. But just recent movies, like I went and made the mistake of seeing, oh my goodness, I can't even think of the name, Lucy. Oh, God.
We skipped that one.
Yeah, for good reason. And it's just so much better. It was enjoyable. Again, it's not a masterpiece, but...
Oh, I know why I skipped it. It's because it was the weekend before I was going on vacation. I was like, all right, we got 2 choices here. We can go see Lucy or Guardians of the Galaxy. The choice is obvious. I'll see you guys at Guardians.
Had you made the wrong choice, I would leave this review right now. I would just get out of the car. No, we're not doing this.
I'd rather see a raccoon that shoots people. That's way better. So yeah, I guess that's all we got for now. So next week, God, there's so much coming out right now. We got was that Ben Affleck movie, No Girl. I'm gonna go with that as a yes. And Left Behind, can't wait.
Yes, Left Behind.
And Left Behind, it's gonna be awesome. It'll be bad. It's gonna be a train wreck.
No, it's just gonna burn.
I can't wait for the sequels when shits get really bizarre. Or for Jesus comes in with a commando shotgun.
Let's just get through the first one before we go that weird.
No, Ben Affleck, not Ben Affleck. Yes, Ben Affleck as Jesus, teaming up with Nicolas Cage.
Oh my goodness, can you imagine the shitstorm?
Oh, I'm Jesus.
He would have to do the Batman voice. I would be disappointed if he didn't.
Sorry. I'm really digging this. I'll talk to my friend Ron, see if we can make it happen. So yeah, I guess that's all we got. So we'll see you guys all next time.